Hi, it's Ethan at Trippy Corner. In today's video, I'll be looking at the best midfield options for Game Week 21 and beyond. Some notes on Trippy Corner: for the best quality analysis, thoughts and suggestions, I watch Premier League games in full, certainly 3 to 4 a week. For those I don't watch in full, I watch extended highlights. I'm also tuned into press conferences, interviews, team news. All of that combined with a solid amount of time on data analysis gives me a good foundation of knowledge to form my judgments. So yes, that's a bit of background on me and what you're receiving from tuning in. It's been a few weeks since Bukayo Saka's injury rocked the game and shook up the template, but we are still feeling the effects of it. To best understand the midfield market right now, it makes sense to look at your team's structure and how demand for certain midfielders has risen. This will ultimately help best inform the best choice for you. So let's look at team structure. At the time of Saka's injury, a lot of top performing FPL teams shared the same magnificent midfield core. This was Salah, Palmer and Saka. If you didn't have three, you'd at least have two. These are players performing consistently well in high output teams. Now, the result of owning this trio means you also spend the money required for them. So, what this means for the rest of midfield is in the remaining slots you could use a budget enabler, someone below 5.5 mil, say a Morgan Rogers, Ahmad or Semenyo. Then another slot for someone between the 5.5 to around 8.5 mark, depending on the rest of your team. Ultimately, you can look at those two midfield slots and see them for what they are, and that is quite a flexible position. You could even own two assets around the 6 mil mark, whatever you see fit. Now, the Saka injury has freed up an additional flexible slot in midfield with a nice extra chunk of money to spread elsewhere too. This is what has shook up the template, this is what sparked conversation around midfielders, and given, as I explained, everyone watching this will have a different team, therefore different circumstances and needs, I'll be naming my top replacements and also giving alternatives to each choice at a lower price point. No one can replace Saka, but there are certainly a lot of great avenues on the map to help our teams. In my opinion, these are the best options available. Anthony Gordon is number one. He's off the back of 5 straight returns, 5 goals and 5 assists for the season, and he's pretty nailed on that left side for Newcastle. We've seen Gordon's ability for a few seasons now. He's very involved in Newcastle's attack. Great crossing, shooting and pressing ability. He's in a good run of form and Newcastle's fixtures are set out quite nice up until the very last few weeks of the season. And a side note on Newcastle, Tonali coming back in has made a huge difference. His physicality and technical skill set has allowed Newcastle to take more control in games, winning them crucial midfield battles, which actually frees up the attack to play with more confidence and get into more fruitful positions. High XG, if you like. I have Gordon in my team. I transferred him in last week for Martin Ødegaard, so I got him for that nice 7-pointer against Tottenham, and I think he's a great long-term hold. A cheaper alternative you could look at is Jacob Murphy. He plays on the opposite side to Gordon, 3 goals and 7 assists. Great numbers, he's a solid choice sitting at 5.1 if you can't stretch to Gordon. There are of course the usual price point considerations. His minutes aren't completely set and his output might not be as consistent. My second choice is Brian Mbeumo. He's been so consistent throughout the season, 13 goals and 3 assists. He's a 90-minute man, penalty taker. There's not much you can argue against him. There was that stretch of about 5 games earlier in the season where the returns weren't coming, but apart from that, he's been very consistent. For the price, he's still a very good buy. I don't own him and haven't done all season. I felt like I missed the boat on him early on, then I just didn't really consider him as an option. Now, however, I look and he's definitely one I want to bring in. He does come up against Manchester City and Liverpool next, which I personally don't mind. Both defences have been shipping goals recently, City in particular, but there is flexibility there. You can definitely hold till game week 23 for less risk. that's when the real nice run of fixtures start for them. Sorry if you've seen that little fly that just came up on my face there. But yeah, if Mbeumo is out your price range, I wouldn't be looking at any of the other Brentford midfielders. Damsgaard is an option, but I don't see a big appeal, so I'm actually going to offer up EZE as an alternative. He is a striker, but if you want in on what is a fruitful Brentford attack, 9 goals and 3 assists for the season so far is great. And something really interesting is Mbeumo and EZE both share the same majority, around the same majority of Brentford's goal involvement. So again, Mbeumo and EZE both share a pretty equal majority of Brentford's goal involvements. Very evenly split. I don't have the exact figures, but it's pretty half and half. So if you can't get to Mbeumo, EZE is a good alternative at 6.2 if you want in on Brentford attack. Third midfield choice for me is Eberechi Eze. 2 returns in his last 2. Only 2 goals and 3 assists so far, but he has missed a lot of games through injury and also did have quite a slow start to the season by his standards. It's clear to anyone who knows ball that Eze is a fantastic player. His creativity lifts Palace to a new level. The assist threat is there. The goal threat is there. He has the capability to be a talismanic figure. Plus, the fixtures are really nice up until about game week 32. It's worth mentioning they could blank in game week 29 if Newcastle reach the EFL Cup final, but even then, that's a while away and you can still work around it with wildcard strategy. I owned Eze at the start of the season, then sold him in game week 10 because of his injury. I said to myself I'd get him back. I've erred on the side of caution due to how injury prone he can be and general uncertainty on Crystal Palace's form. However, I am looking at him now and it's a tough call between him and Mbeumo. A direct alternative for Eze is Ismaila Sarr. He's 5.9 mil, 4 goals and 3 assists so far, so actually more output than Eze this season. He's definitely a good pick and his minutes seem secure too. So that is my top 3 choices. Another alternative you could look at is Bruno Fernandes. He has a nice set of fixtures and a proven track record in FPL. I just ultimately don't trust Man United to deliver on a consistent basis, and consistency is something I'd like at that price point. If you do like the look of him, I wouldn't outright say no, don't get him. I'm absolutely not saying that. He's a great asset. He will get you points. He's just not someone I would sit here and recommend to you. Another alternative at a lower price point, and who I actually think is the best budget midfielder, is Morgan Rogers. 6 goals and 4 assists this season. He's a crucial element in Aston Villa right now. The minutes are there. Emery really likes him. When he's out the side, you can see the effect. I think there's even an argument to say he's fixture proof. That's 14 points against Man City, 9 away to Tottenham, and at 5.5 mil, I just don't think you can get anyone else that's better for output and expected minutes. I've had him since game week 10 and plan on holding for the season. I could see us paying at least 6 mil for him next season, probably more. So yes, I thought, along with recommending some same team alternatives to those high priced assets, it's probably worth going over who is my number 1 choice for the budget picks. So that's my top midfield options for game week 21 and beyond. I hope it's been helpful to you. Please drop any comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on my picks and any other midfielders I've not mentioned that you'd like discussing. I'll be back very soon with my game week 21 team selection. I have 1 free transfer and 2.1 in the bank. Plan is to roll, but that is dependent on the weekend cup games and potential price rises. Thank you for listening. I'll see you soon.